The next important topic, right? How we are going to use number of reducers more effectively. In the last class, we have seen that if you put set num reduce tasks as commented, what will be provided? Identity reducer will be provided by the Mapreduce framework. You don't have to do anything. But if you forcefully set that particular value as 0, then not even the identity reducer will be provided. But what will happen? Mapreduce will make sure that the output is written into part dash R, so that letter indicates whether, oh sorry, part dash M, so that letter indicates whether there was a mapper or there was a reducer involved only. So the applications where you will use only reducer, copying the data. So you don't need to do any aggregation like word count, correct? You just want to take the data from a database and then you just want to copy it. That is where you will be using a reducer without, we will be using a mapper without any reducer, okay? Now, what we are going to see today is, I want to take back my word count application. And in that word count application, I want to create two outputs, part dash R dash this and part dash R dash this by default, correct? But I want only certain words to go to this particular place. For example, any word starting with a vowel, A, E, I, O, U, vowel, I want to send it here. So, if there is a word called ant, apple, elephant, cat, dog. Ant, apple, and elephant should go here, and the non-vowels, cat and dog, should come here. That is the real application, where you are now going to create partitions based upon some logic. And this is the most important part of MapReduce logic. Why? Because when you are running your MapReduce for large amount of data, let us just take, I have an SFTP directory in which lots of providers are sending me files, and NASCO is one, Sapphire is one. If it is a bank, assume that lot of applications are coming from external vendors, FX rates, stock exchange prices, etc. I want you to write a MapReduce program where you will take this and let us send the NASCO related files into one partition, Sapphire related into another partition, depending upon the third provider go to other partition, depending upon stock exchange you go to some partition, right? So that further analysis with R or that raw graphs, you can apply on that particular data, create graphs, how many files came, how many were not good, how many are excellent, etc., etc. You may write ETLs on that particular file using certain logic. This particular file is coming from, let's say, stock exchange, so a different ETL is needed for that. You may write it from that particular file. That's the application. So the concept that we are learning in this is how to write a partitioner, right? So let's start by creating our word count programs copy. We don't have a word count yet, right? Because all our programs where we customized it, like IP count, DDoS analysis, right? All those things. So what I need to do is, I'm going to go to the Passion Bytes directory, right? CD Passion Bytes, right? And inside the Passion Bytes, we have got lots of directories now. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the work directory. So still there is work directory available. I don't know what is that particular work directory. We didn't change the name. no reducer is there, identity is there, so everything is there. I think if you want to change it, please change it. I don't know what to change. uh, what was the last topic that we have covered?
The combiner and the stuff.
Yeah, combiner, correct. But combiner I have already created. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to change that one. If you need to change, you just create a copy and make changes. Okay, so I'm going to work on the work directory, cd work. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the program to word count. How will you change the program to word count? Cd com, cd source, and then cd com, and we have cd Bhaskar. I'm not changing it. And inside that we have population count.java. I am deleting that population count. No source files are there now. And where is my word count program available? If you think it is in concept 1. But remember, do not take concepts 1 copy. Why? Because that build.xml is not correct for your system. So I am going to take from the home directory. If you put a tilde, that is a home directory. Inside that we have got passion bytes, right? And inside the passion bytes we have got a concepts 1. Concepts 1 has got a source directory. Inside that there is a com directory. Remember, concept 1 is given by me, so it is called Ravi. And inside that there is a word count.java. And I'm going to copy it to dot, which means that I am bringing that particular file into here. Okay, so if you now look, you have the word count.java. But one problem, since it is copied from me, it is not in com.bhaskar. The first line will be com.ravi. So what I need to do is first change the package name. These are all the concepts we have already learned. You should not ever get any doubt on all these things. Bhaskar. Okay, and then in the similar way, if you are coming down, there is nothing to change. Why? Because I'm not changing the name of the program, so the word count is there. Remember, this line is to be commented or deleted because it is forcing the reducers to 0. We don't want that, so I'm deleting that particular one, which is set reduce number of tasks, right? And then you have the word count.class, and all those things are available. So no change at all. This is our standard program which is doing the simple word count, correct? And to make sure that everything is working, what is a good practice? Open another command prompt. I told you, iterative, agile way of doing the things. Go to passion bytes, go to work, and try to compile and see that everything is okay or not. There are no, or there should not be any errors that is expected, right? So I have done the correct thing. Okay, so we have got that word count.java. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to write another class. Till now, your mapper class, reducer class, and the driver program is in one file, correct? As an advanced programming, as you are going through advanced programming, you can write your mapper in one file, reducer in one file, and write only a small main where you will be stitching the mapper and reducer. That's also okay. In Java, it is not needed that you write everything in one file. You can have hundreds and hundreds of classes, and all the classes can be stitched together, right? So I am going to write a new class called vowel partitioner.java, which is going to do this particular logic. But before going that, you should know little bit of concepts. And remember, this is again the basis of everything that you are going to do in big data. Okay, so what are the concepts that are needed? First of all, assume that MTEL is asking a simple mathematical question. There are 3 apples, and I want to put these 3 apples into 3 baskets. Let us call this is basket number 1, 0, basket number 1, and basket number 2. I will start it with 0 as the index. So we want to put these 3 apples into baskets so that everything is balanced. Tell me, how will you do that? One will go here, one will go here, one will go here. Very simple, correct? All right. Now I am going to give you another question that I have got 25 apples and I want to divide that into 3 baskets. How will I do that?
I will three. We'll put one by one.
So please look at the question. I have a number n and I have number of buckets b. Correct? So what is my number of buckets here? 3. And what is the number n here?
25.
How can I make any number, 25 or 25 million or 250 or 25,000, apply some mathematical function? It can be multiplication, it can be division, I don't know. It can be sine, it can be logarithm. The result should give me either a 0 or a 1 or a 2. Are you getting the question? Are you clear about the question? I have a number. Tell me a function. If I apply, I should get the bucket number so that I will put it into that bucket. Are you getting it? Okay? Just assume that 25 apples are there. There are 3 homes: Bhaskar's home, Seiko's home, and Ravi's home. These 25 apples I want to give to this particular homes. So one will go here, one will go here, one will go here. But which bucket? What should go? I want a function. I want a mathematical function. So I will apply. Oh, okay. This apple will go to Seiko. This apple will go to Ravi. This apple will go to this one. What is that function? It's not percentage, it is called modulus function. Very, very simple function in mathematics. See that what we studied in the school, we never thought that it has got any application. It's the most important function in computer programming. Modulus. What is modulus? If you take modulus of b, result is guaranteed that you will get an answer 0 to b minus 1. So, let's take 25 modulus of 3. Tell me the answer. Divide 25 by 3 and what is the remainder? 1. So, it will go to the first bucket. 24th apple. What is 24 modulus of 3? It will go to 0th bucket. 23 modulus of 3. It will go to the second bucket. Understand? This is called a hash function. A hash function in programming will convert a number on the left hand side to a bucket number, and it will go to that bucket. So now tell me the logic that we are going to apply for our partitioner. If anything is starting with A, E, I, O, U, put that letter into modulus of 2, because we have got 2 buckets. Part dash R dash 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, part dash R dash 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. If any word is coming which is not starting with A, E, I, O, U, put it into modulus of 2 plus 1. What is that meaning? First bucket. This is what is partitioning. Now you will ask, if I don't write a partitioner and if I write number of reducer equal to modulus of 5, what will happen? Sorry, number of reducers equal to 5. What will happen? It will create 5 outputs, but it will do a default alphabetic partitioning, which is part of Mapreduce. That is why you are getting all the answers into one partition. So here what you are doing? I don't want default. Just like when you don't give a reducer, it is giving you an identity reducer, correct? How you override it? You will provide your own reducer, correct? In the similar way, I don't want default. I'm going to take that and I'm going to control it in my own way. And that is how you will write a partitioner. And in Java or in Hadoop, in any architecture, if suppose you want to do something which is specific for a particular framework, they will give you something called an interface. Don't worry too much about it. So there is an interface provided. Only thing that you need to do, you have to implement that interface in that particular class and write a function. That's all. I'll explain to you what you are going to do. So let me bring that particular class into my source folder. So my source folder is in the other window. So I'm going here, and what I'm going to do is, remember the command that I did, source.com. So I'm going to take concept3 /source/com/ Ravi slash I think it is Ravi vowel partitioner.java, and I am going to copy it here, and I am going to change the name to, let's say, Bhaskar vowel partitioner. So move Ravi vowel partitioner to Bhaskar vowel partitioner, right? So I am going to change that one and to Ravi. I think spelling is wrong. Bhaskar vowel partitioner .java, and let us look at that Bhaskar vowel partitioner.java and see what it is doing. I told you in Java, any file name that you are giving should be starting with whatever you have given as the program name. So here we have put as Bhaskar vowel partitioner.java, and here I am going to call it as com.bhaskar. No change at all to all those concepts that we studied. As I told you, it is giving you a particular class, and what Hadoop is telling, if any programmer in the world wants to write a partitioner class, just write your class name and by heart this line, extends partitioner. Do you remember what I talked about extends? I told you clearly what is extends. I bought a microwave oven and I want to extend it with my own switch. So I will take the default that is provided by the shop, and then I am going to customize it. What is it called in Java? Extends. Inheritance. That is the property. The ability of a class to take properties from an existing class. That is called inheritance. So what is that existing class provided by Mapreduce to you? Partitioner. What you are doing? Bhaskar over partitioner, I am going to extend it. Why you are extending it? Because you want to write your logic. Hadoop doesn't know A, E, I, O, U, vowel, what you want. Correct? So you took that and you are extending it. And what are you going to do? You are telling that exactly, if it is starting with a vowel, put it in the partition modulus of 2 plus 1. Otherwise, put it in the modulus of 2 partition. That's all. I have explained you that. Correct? So modulus operator is used. And what is this? You see the programming? Okay, always in a nice programming, it will be like an English novel. You won't get any doubt. What is that word showing? Starts with a vowel in bracket key. What does that mean? If any key is starting with a vowel, and how will you decide whether anything is starting with a vowel or not? If it is starting with either A, E, I, O, U or capital A, E, I, O, U. Correct? So let us convert the initial letter into capital and check whether it is starting with A, E, I, O, U. Write a small function which will do that, right? So that start with the vowel is a function which will take any value, convert it into uppercase and check whether it is starting with A, E, I or O, U. So you wrote a function, right? Now, important thing, what is the name of this particular code? Bhaskar vowel partitioner. So, okay, I'm going to copy this particular code, copy, and ls, it is there. And what is my main program? What is the driver program? Where is your driver program? In wordcount.java. And what is the area where you are going to stitch the things? Remember? In the main. So what I am going to write here is I am going to write an additional line. And what is that additional line? Can you guess what is that additional line? Job dot. Yes, set partitioner class. Just like Mapreduce class and all. And what is the name of partitioner class spelling? Partitioner class. P-A-R-T-I. Partitioner class. And in bracket, what is the name of the partitioner class? We just copied it. And you have to right click, paste, and you have to write dot class. So what did you do? You are now telling that run this particular Mapreduce program, but make sure that there are partitions. Now, how many partitions are you wanting? 2 partitions. Set num reduce tasks in bracket. See, we studied everything step by step. Now you know that. Okay. Go to the other window, which we use for compiling. This is this one. And do a compilation. Successful. And what do we need to do? create a file. Okay, let us do a file vi, and today is oct05.txt is the file, and in that file I am going to write apple, banana, grape, and ant, elephant, tiger, cat, apple, banana, and again an apple. Just creating some words with vowel and some words without vowel. So october05.txt. Let us create a Hadoop directory. Hadoop fs minus mkdir. I am going to create a directory called input. If input is not existing, I think it is existing. Then if it is existing, we will delete it. No. So it is created, and Hadoop fs minus put october05.txt to input. And then go to the dist folder. And in the dist folder, Hadoop jar, the name of the file is bhaskar.jar, the name of the program is Bhaskar. Remember, we changed the program, so it is word count now. And the directory is input, and let us call it as october05 out as the output directory. All right. Hadoop fs minus ls. What is that? October 05 out. Correct? Look at that. It created two partitions now. One is part-00, and it is not 0 byte because the default partition. Remember in the last class I told you, we created two partitions, but one was 0 and one other was full. Why? Because it used the default partitions. Now you forced, and let's see what you forced. Hadoop fs minus cat october 05 out slash part dash r dash 1 2 3 4 5. It did the word count, but all the vowels only went to this particular place. And if you look at 1, you will see all the non-vowels went to this particular partition. This is an amazing concept in Mapreduce. So, what is the order in which Mapreduce framework is getting executed? Mapper, combiner, partitioner, shuffle and sort, reducer. This is the end of Mapreduce. This is the real paradigm by which Mapreduce will get executed. Order by which it will be executed. Now, that shuffle and sort I wrote. Remember, there will be some shuffling happening here, and there will be some shuffling happening here. Sorting happening here. Why? Can you guess why? In the mapper also, when Bhaskar is doing the word count, he will do a sorting before giving to the reducer. And in the reducer also, when multiple data is coming in, it will also do a sorting. So, mapper, combiner, partitioner, shuffle and sort, reducer. That is the full way or order in which a Mapreduce framework is getting executed. This is optional. This is optional. None of the else is optional. It must be there in a Mapreduce program. Mapper, shuffle and sort, reducer. There is no doubt. Combiner and partitioner, you already know. If you want performance, you will use a combiner and partitioner. I want to do one more concept today. Then you can practice, because anyhow 2 people are there, not there. What is that? Look. Let's look at our program, okay? A very valid question. vi word count.java. And this is my mapper, and you are all familiar with that mapper. You are converting into a lowercase, and then you are counting, and you are printing count, comma 1, count, comma 1, count, comma 1, correct? Very familiar program. some problem is happening. The problem happening is, let us assume that Bhaskar or Devraj has written this particular program, and you wrote twinkle, twinkle, little star. Okay, so the output you are expecting is twinkle 2, little 1, and star 1. Correct? But instead of that, let us assume that little is not printed, star is not printed. Some mistake. Are you following me? It is not giving the correct output of the word count program. So you are thinking, okay, let me find out how many words are processed by Mapreduce. Correct? If I have a mechanism to find out how many words are processed by Mapreduce, if Mapreduce is processing 4 but no output is there, then I know some problem is there in the reducer. Correct? If Mapreduce is telling that I processed only 2 words, that means something problem with the reading. You understand? So often in Mapreduce programming, you will need to count the total number of words you need to count. Tell me, how can I count? Please think properly. Don't tell an answer which is completely violating the concept of distributed programming. Let me ask you, if I create a variable there called, let's say, count equal to 0. If I create a variable there at this place here, if I am writing integer count equal to 0, and whenever I am processing it, I am writing counter plus plus. That means I am incrementing the counter and I am printing it. Will it give me the correct answer or no?
If you print outside a calibration, then it
Okay, if you pinned outside the calibration here, so if here, where?
yes,
You understand the question first of all? Did you understand the question? What is this here? Then you are not asking me. I am counting the Mapreduce program. This is my input. Twinkle, twinkle, little star is my input. What is the output you are expecting for this Mapreduce program if everything is correct? Tell me now. What? Twinkle is 2, little is 1, and star is 1. I am getting an output. That's it. So something is wrong. Yes or no?
Yes.
So I want to find out in my mapper how many words were processed. Actually, how many words are processed? 4. I want that value. Because if I know that value, I can debug where is the problem. Are you following me? Bhaskar, yes or no?
Yeah.
Just I want a debug statement to count the number of words. Tell me where I will write that variable.
After next token.
Huh?
After next token, because it is
Okay, very good. After next token, I am going to write. So okay, I will declare a variable counter equal to 0,
yeah.
and then
After next token, tokenize the next token.
huh?
You print the counter plus 1.
Okay, very good. So let's do this. So these are 3 words Bhaskar is processing. These are the 2 words that you are processing. Okay. This is your mapper. Please observe clearly. You didn't get the concept till now. That's why you are telling these answers. You would not tell the answer otherwise. Think, man. Okay. Right. You have a paper. Okay. Assume that there is a counter equal to 0 in the mapper, and you are incrementing it. Okay.
Counter is
Wait. Let us execute. Okay, both of these are going to be executed in parallel, but I am going to show you one by one. Okay. First word, right? What is the counter? What is the initial value of counter for you?
1. 0.
0. Okay. So when it is coming?
0.
Huh?
No.
Counter will be incremented. So
0 plus
1.
2. 3.
Okay. Very good. So what is your counter value?
3.
Okay.
My counter is 0, 1, 2.
So what is his counter value?
2.
What did I ask you? Do I want 3 from one machine and 2 from another machine, or I want 5?
1, 5, yeah.
Now you are repeating.
The parallel processor.
Distributed programming. Mind should be think that this is parallel. If you declare a variable there, most foolish thing that you are doing. Individual mapper, all the 1000 machines are going to execute counter equal to 0, counter equal to 0, counter equal to 0, and they are going to add within itself.
Double processing.
This is the fundamental of distributed programming. Psycho, how will you do? Where you will declare?
Is there a way to get the sum of all the processes?
Where?
Global, I don't know, global.
You should have given an answer immediately,
You
man.
need a semaphore.
You can write it in the reducer, no?
Reducer, yeah.
In the reducer I can write it, correct?
Reducer is the.
But I don't know what in reducer. I want to find out in mapper how many words are there. Don't change the question. How will I do it?
You need a semaphore.
It's a very beautiful concept. Remember I told you about a pipe? What you need is in Mapreduce, declare a variable in that pipe so that when Bhaskar is incrementing and Devraj is incrementing, it is the same variable. That is what you want. It should not be local to the map. Are you getting? If it is local to the map, what will happen? Everyone will have individual results. Are you following, Ravi?
Yeah.
So we need a shared variable.
Global
Very
variable.
important. Spark and all, you can't do anything with it. This is called a broadcast variable in Spark.
Broadcast.
Yeah, broadcast variable. See the name? Broadcast variable. It will broadcast so that everybody can access it. So what I need is a variable. So I am telling this variable counter equal to 0. Now Bhaskar is incrementing. 1, 2. Devraj is incrementing. 3, 4. It's the same variable.
But it has a lock on
It is automatically managed by the very good question. Okay, it's a synchronization is already done in
it. It
between.
has a semaphore.
In between, yes. So we need a shared variable. If it is Java programming, anybody who is for Udaya, if it is Java programming, what is that variable called? Static variable. If a variable is declared as static in Java, that means it is shared by all objects. But you can't use Java there. Even if you are using static variable, Bhaskar is executing his own.
It's a
Devraj is executing his own, so static will not work here.
different instance.
The concept of this, when you want a shared variable, is called using counters in Mapreduce. Okay, so the answer that you should be telling when such an argument, I have to use a counter. It is not a count variable, okay? A counter. The moment you say in Mapreduce I am going to use counters, what does that mean? You are creating a shared variable which is accessed across. That is why somebody told me that you cannot write a program in Mapreduce for finding the average of n numbers. You can. How will you find out a program for finding average of n numbers? Create a counter variable and you add all the numbers into that counter variable, correct? Because it is shared. And then in the reducer, you divide the total counter variable by number of numbers, you got average, right? So any program you can manipulate it into a Mapreduce program with this massive, beautiful idea, counter. Now, to understand counter, this is a little bit beyond it, because a little bit of programming I'm telling, but I want you to know the concept clearly. Anybody? Okay, PLSQL, let me take. I have a variable in PLSQL, Bhaskar, which can take Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Only these are the possible values. How will you declare that variable?
Array.
Very good. It is an array, correct? In Java, Udaya, how will you declare it? What is it called?
String array.
No, I don't tell that array to the. There is a beautiful concept in Java which you can do it. What is it called? Have you ever heard about this word? A enumerated data type. It is like an array. Fixed array. Constant array. So whenever you want to create a constant array in Java, what he told is absolutely correct. What he told is correct. But only thing is that an array means, his answer is also not absolutely correct. That array, that what he is telling, somebody can change it.
Adding.
Here, if you create enum in Java, what is the meaning? Only what you list. That's all.
Or a sequence in order.
Correct. If in Mapreduce you want to implement a counter, you should declare a variable which is of type enum. First rule. And then in the program you will access it. I'm going to show you that. All right, let's do that. Okay.
I have one more
Yeah.
question.
when we are writing these programs, we are defining in the first parenthesis like what are the data types like a context or string.
Correct.
For the numeric values,
Yeah.
writable we are
Yeah.
using, right? So the int writable can allow any kind of data like a long or integer.
Use long writable.
decimal.
Use long writable. Int writable, long writable, double writable,
Oh, that is
depending upon the data type. That is where API I told you. Just look at the API.
Okay.
Right? Text writable. Text is by default string writable. So you can change that data type however you wish. In our case, it is always an integer. That is why we are putting int writable.
Okay. But to write into the output, right? Just only you need to define as a context, and internally we will define those again.
In the driver program, correct.
program, multiple
Absolutely.
So, but in the beginning, only one variable we have. To
Only
define
one.
the
Correct.
multiple.
Correct. And that should match this.
Okay.
Here, there you wrote int writable.
Mhm.
And you told that your output is text. It will give you an error.
It will be.
Yes.
So I want to know the exception handling here little bit. Not
What exception handling? These are all the
If
things.
If you do something wrong, I want to display.
Logs, clearly in the logs. The key is this is output. This is error you are going to get. Key is int writable, but you specified text. What does that mean?
Can we can't handle in the programmatically like?
No, it is not possible
For
because
example, right, in some
it is
calculation,
a
I think
calculation error is a semantic exception, man. That is where all these things will come into picture. What did I tell you? System.out.println, did I tell you? Yarn logs minus application ID and you give the ID, all the system.out logs. That is the best way of debugging the programs. I do it every day. Just to put a system.out.println, what is coming there? System.out.println, Bhaskar, value here. After the next line, value here. In the reducer, value here. Look at your output. Oh, okay. The value coming here after this. This is not expected. Right? Exceptions like data type exceptions, that is runtime errors. You cannot handle it in the program. Runtime exceptions will happen when you execute. Got it? But this counter, system.out.println, that command that I told you in the last class, where you are converting yarn logs minus application ID, remember? And then you are giving the application ID. That's the most important thing. That will tell you anything that you want to do, any debugging that you want to do. Correct? Because you can write any statement there. Right? Alright, so let's use the counter. What I want you to do, I just put a reference, that is what I was doing in the beginning. So, I'm going to go to foroursun.com, right? /passion. And I have uploaded a file called counters.txt. The first thing, if you want to use a counter, you have to import this particular package. I will just make it a little bit big so that you can see. Zoom in. Declare a variable on the top. So I'm going to copy this. Copy. And come back to your virtual machine. And go to the beginning of the program. Import in Java. In Scala, you can write import anywhere. In Java, import must be written on the top of your program. Import. See, that color also will tell you whether there is a spelling mistake in your code. Okay. Right click, paste, and put a semicolon in. In Scala, you don't need a semicolon. So you declare the variable. And after that, what did I tell you? You have to declare what data type? Enum. So my variable name that I am creating is called counters enum, and I am going to call it as input_words because I am counting input words. You can give any name there. Bhaskar words, ABC, PQR, Devraj, whatever name you want. Okay. So input words I am going to write, and I am going to copy that and come to the mapper. Come to the mapper. And inside the mapper where you have declared these variables, just declare that variable. Okay, I am going to write here paste and put a semicolon. You declared a variable, right? And then what you need to do, write this particular line to get the counter value. When I am executing the code in Bhaskar, I told you, access that shared variable, correct? That is a line. And what is the next line that Bhaskar is doing? Counter.increment. What Devraj is doing? Counter.increment. So when you are calling that counter.increment, it is the shared variable which is getting incremented. So copy that, Control C, sorry, Control C will not work. So copy and come back to your program, right? And inside the map function, remember this is the map function, while tokenizer and word.set s, right? After that I am going to increment it at this particular point. You should be careful where you are incrementing it, okay? After I am setting that particular text, I am telling that, okay, I processed one word. So I am going to write here paste and make sure you are writing counter dot increment, right? What is that syntax? Counter dot increment in bracket 1. So counter dot increment, counter increment in bracket 1. Please remember how to use a shared variable. In Mapreduce programming, if you want to create anything which is to be shared, this is the only way. There is one more that we will see tomorrow. But this is the most widely used way. In Spark, this is called broadcast variables. Sometimes Spark uses a word accumulator. Accumulating the things. Please remember, this is how it is implemented. That's the reason why we are doing all these things. Okay, so counter is there. I'm not putting any system.out.println to print the value of counter. Why? Let me show you. Okay, let's compile the code. I will first delete the output. Hadoop fs minus rmr oct05 out. Don't delete the input. All right, and I'm going to compile the program. Remember, you have to compile it by going to the parent directory where the build.xml is there. You should be mastered all these things now, right? Clear. What will happen if you are trying to compile it? It will tell you build.xml not found. So something is wrong. Okay. So cd dist and inside the dist. It is running the Mapreduce. It is running the program output we already seen. It is working. That is not the purpose here, right? All right. Now I am going to go to the browser. Your browser in the virtual machine will not show me everything. That is why I am taking the browser. By taking the IP, you can call this particular browser from your local machine. 10.1.10.195. So if I type here 10.1.10.195 colon 8088, it should give me the Mapreduce folder, right? Because I'm accessing from the local machine, the virtual machine's browser. All right. The second run, not the first one. First one we didn't add the counter. I want you to go to the right side, click on history. Not history. Wait, let me find out. This one. Okay. And then click on logs. No. Let me find it out. Where it is. Back. Go to this one. Is it history? No, it is not history. I think it is history because it is giving the name. Okay, let me access from it is the URL redirection is causing the problem, I think. So let me just look at this way. Start.cloudera in the browser itself. Okay, colon 8088 and press enter. And the second one. How will I see this? Okay. Let me first find it out, and then I will make it big. Yeah, that history is working. So there is a problem with that one. Okay, so I'll make it big now. View. Okay, when I click on history and look on the left hand side, can you see? The second word here is counters. And I'm going to click on counters. Drag down, 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 down. Look at that, input words. I'll make it big. What is that word? Input words came in. It is your counter. So how many input words were there in our program? That apple, banana and all that we wrote? So Mapreduce automatically tracks it for you and gives you. This is the beauty. You don't need write system.out.println. Now comes the final thing. What do you think that whenever you are writing a Mapreduce program, you have seen more than 30-40 times this output at the end of the program? What are they? All these are internally implemented as counters. How many bytes has taken, how many records were taken, how many these were, and these are all very important parameters for performance tuning. How many bytes read, how many Mapreduce created. Internally, Mapreduce is giving you a default set of counters. Those are the counters that are getting printed at the end of every Mapreduce program. See, file output format counters, file input format counters, input words, your counter, which is 11. So now that is also clarified. What is the heck or what the heck is printed at the end of that Mapreduce program every time? What are they? Counters. All the counters which are internally implemented are being printed. If you want to use a counter, you can use it. Mapreduce is by default giving. Look at that. Bad ID, connection, wrong length, wrong map, wrong reduce. You don't have to do anything. Again, for the debugging. It will clearly tell you if one reducer failed. Out of 1000 machines, if 3 reducers failed, it will tell you. Even you can get which machine failed by the yarn logs command. That is how the debugging is happening. Assume that you wrote an algorithm and it is telling input records processed is 10 kilobytes. Ravi wrote an algorithm, input record processed is 5 kilobytes. Maybe his algorithm is better. That is how you will compare. Right? So partitioner and counters. One more session that we will complete tomorrow. Just to practice these two, please make sure you know in and out of these two. Partitioner and counters. Okay, shared variables. All right.